Welcome back to the Crochet Chronicles with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to explore Mosaic Crochet. This is a crochet technique that is really quite cool, and it's an old-time technique, and it's referred to as Mosaic Crochet. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to go through the basics of learning how to do Mosaic Crochet. So today's video is going to be divided into 9 different chapters, and you'll see those on screen with a time marker that you can fast forward. What exactly is Mosaic Crochet? Understanding what the rows really mean. What are the filet meshes? Let's crochet 2 meshes together. How the meshes are working together. Working in the front and the back of the meshes. Creating your own mosaics. Problem solving at the beginning of a row. And then finally how to finish your mosaics to have a nice finish. So you can make your choice now. So what is exactly Mosaic Crochet? Well, it's the intricate designs that you can create using 2 different strands of yarn, but they're not actually connected to each other. They're worked in between each other. Now you may know this technique under different names, but the original name is called Mosaic Crochet. And what happens here is that if I stick my hook underneath the white, for example, you'll notice that it's by itself, where the gray in behind is just completely separate for it. So what's happening here is that there's actually one row of 2 different yarns. So you're gonna go across the row with the one color, and then you'll come back like a typewriter and collect the other one and work in the one in between. So you have the mosaics look. So you can see this is like a zigzag pattern of a floor tile. It's really quite amazing. So what is exactly Mosaic Crochet? It's the artwork of putting 2 different meshes together at the exact same time, but we have to start off with 2 meshes individually right at the very beginning, and then from there we grow it. So Mosaic Crochet is also a 2-sided pattern. So what you see on this side is the opposite to what you see on the other side. So where you see it in the one color here, you'll see that it's completely the other color on the other side. So you'll see that it is exactly identical. So this blanket can be flipped upside down and you will still have the beautiful mosaics on the front and the back. So let's move along and understanding what the rows really mean. So the rows of the project, you're actually looking at each section here. So you'll notice that it looks like it's building up, and you'll see that it's like building up like this. But what happens is that these rows are not exactly aligned to each other. So it's not like there's one row on top of the other. One row is slightly shifted up in front of the other or behind the other. It all depends on the way that you're looking at it from front to back. So when you go to do these rows, you're gonna start up and you're just gonna start creating your pattern going across, and you're gonna get to the other side and stop. Then you have to just release that off your hook and then come back to the very beginning again and pick up the secondary color and work in the shapes that you would like to do. So this is just a zigzag pattern, but you can do many different kinds of designs. It's really not a hard concept to do, but it's kind of hard to learn, and we're gonna be covering that a little bit because it's really fiddly in the very beginning, but once you start to really get this into your head, it's actually not so bad. So it took me a little bit of practice in order to do a sample, but I figured let's do a whole sample. Let's dive right in. So you have to understand that when it comes to one row, that it's not just one strand of yarn going across, there's actually 2. So there's 2 traveling across, and then when you come back there will be 2 traveling back the other direction. So moving right along, we have what is called this filet meshes. So you actually see 2 filet meshes here, but the way that they're put together when we're going row by row makes them intertwine with each other. So they're mosaicing it together in order to create the shapes that you see. So what you're noticing here is that there's 2 meshes but being worked together at the very same time. So when we go to look at it from a different perspective, I'm gonna show you what it looks like without it being attached at all, because what happens is that we need to create the first row of the mesh work, and then do that for both of the meshes, and then we start intertwining them together in order to make the mosaic look. So let me show you what one of those meshes look like. So on screen is the start of 2 meshes. We have to have 2 in order to be combined with each other. So you'll notice that the meshes are like a ladder for a fireman, or a fire person I should say, and it looks like a ladder going up, and you will have 2 of those. So there's a difference between mesh A and B. So what happens here is the main color is the color that will appear on the side of the work. So for example, if this is the main color of it, this will appear actually on the side of your project completely, where the other color, number 2, will appear in between the slots that you see here. So what you have to concentrate is that the meshes have to be a different size, and they only have to be a different size by 1 different stepping ladder. So let's take a look at it from a ladder perspective, and let's turn it up like this. And you'll notice, let's count how many steps there are in this ladder. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have 7 steps going up in here, and then what we have to do is we have to concentrate on this ladder here, and this ladder will work in between this one here. So there should be a total of 6 steps and not 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what if there was only 5 steps? It would mean that one of the steps is going to be missing some crochet work at the end, and if there was the exact same size, they can't sandwich in between each other. So what you have to concentrate when you're looking at these meshes is that this is the main color, so this will be the outside of the actual project, and this one will sit underneath it the very first time you're going to go across. And these ones here, because it's slightly smaller, they fit into the slots of the existing ones. So this first one on the outside is the one going to go into the slot, and like so. Okay, so what happens is if this white was the same size, it means that they cannot be shifted inside of each other. So that's why it has to be like that. So that's kind of how it has to work, and the secret answer to doing these kind of things is that you need an even number. So for example, if you're going to do this kind of concept, and I did test this a few times as well, so if you want the meshes to work into each other, whatever you chain, the other one has to be an even number, but it has to be 2 less. So you could do like 20, and this could be 18 in order to get that. So let's figure out how to do the mesh now, and then we're gonna work on how to put it together. So let's create one mesh together. So let's create one mesh together. Now if you're doing a whole blanket, you can just lay out the chain actually on whatever you want to do. So if you want to do a bedspread, just lay it out on the bed, and then you have that size. So you just got to keep an even number in order to make it work. So we're gonna create a slip knot. And just for tutorial reasons, I'm only going to chain 16. So that's an even number. So this is going to be the primary mesh. This will be the main color mesh. So then the secondary one that I'm going to do has to be chaining of 14. So it's 2 less. So you're just going to chain out. So I'm just going to do 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So there is my first chain, just like you see. So what I want to do to create the first row, and you have to do this for both before you can join them together, but you have to go 6 chain from the hook. So just count back. So just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and turn it over and get the back hump of that stitch of that chain. So you're just gonna wrap the hook first, and you're gonna go into the 6th one, and you were just going to double crochet. So all of this works as double crochet. So you have the outside stepping ladder, and now you have the next one here. You chain 1, skip 1 down on the chain itself, and then double crochet into the next. And you're gonna do that all the way across your work in order to create the stepping ladder that you need in order to do this mesh. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. Okay, so chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, okay, and double crochet in the next, and then chain 1, and then you skip 1, and it's your last stitch anyway for my particular size, and you're going to just double crochet. So now what happens is that you have your ladder, right? You have your fire person ladder. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 posts. So this means that if this is the main color, that the secondary one must have only 6 posts in order to fill in. Why is there only 6? Because you got to count the gaps. So let's count the gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So therefore it can only be 6, okay, in order to fill in. So the difference between chaining, okay, is the number of 2. So this was chaining of 16. So the next one then I would only chain 14, do the same concept, and therefore you'll only end up with 6 posts. So these 6 here, if this was the secondary color, would just fit inside of these, so that the outside, so it'll be kind of just sandwiched in with each other when it comes to putting it together. Okay, so let's create your mesh then, your secondary mesh. I'm gonna leave that for you. So just chain 14, second chain from the hook, and then just a double crochet, sorry, 6 chain from the hook, double crochet in, chain 1, skip 1, and continue to make all your meshes going like this. So you only need 2, and then get that done, and then I'm gonna show you how to put these together. Okay, just for tutorial reasons I changed it, the white one that I had, to orange, so because you can't really see it on a white background. And so the first thing that we need to do for both of these meshes, so that you have, this is the main one because it'll be the outside color here, and this will fit inside the slots then of the of the main one. So this is kind of the back and the front. So what we want to do before we get started is that I want you to chain 4. So just pick it up and just chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then just release it off your hook, and then grab the other one and do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is so important that you do this because the way that you get started can be very confusing, but these chaining of 4 will help you get started in the right way. What does the chain 4 mean? Well, there's double crochets and then chain 1. So double crochet is made up of 3 chains plus and then the chain 1, so that gives you 4. So then that's how that works. So therefore you have to start off with chaining of 4. So whenever you finish a row with these kind of things, you always want to leave a chain 4 at the very end. So it's not like something that you start in regular crochet where you say chain up 3, double crochet across. You have to finish with chain 4 with this. So let's begin to put these items together, and actually I'm gonna go really slow, but we're gonna take our time and let's do it right. So let's move along. I'm putting the meshes together. So we've done our chain 4s, we're ready to go, and now we're ready to put this together. So what you have to do is that the main color that you have has to stay to the top. So let's turn it. So if you're right-handed, you want to turn it so that the chain is on your right. If you're left-handed, it'll be the opposite way. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to take the smaller mesh that you have, and you want to put it in behind this one here. So they never get joined together until you probably do a perimeter, but when you're working with these, they always stay separate from each other, and you're working in and out of them, out of each other. So what you want to do is that you want to place this one directly over top so that the posts match into the gapping spaces that you see. So I know at the very beginning it's gonna be really hard, but it's just a matter of getting used to it. So you have to then just be patient with this idea and get it done. So what we have to do is that these orange pieces here fit into this chain 1 space that you have. Each time if you push down, you can see it kind of pokes through. They all match up to each other, and that's what we need to look for. So what we're going to do then, to do the very first time that we're gonna do this, is that we are going to, I'm gonna create like the zigzag pattern that you saw within the baby blanket that I've already shown you. So what I want to do is that I want to work on the main color first. We always do the secondary, the back, the last. Okay, so even if we turn our work, we always start with the main color. So we're gonna put that onto our hook right here, and what we want to do is that we want to start up in the very beginning in order to do this. So you'll notice that this one here is going to be the outside of the blanket. So if I want to do a zigzag, I need to pull this one back through the mesh so that it appears like it's sunk down in order to create the look. So how do we do that? It's actually pretty simple. It's not a big deal, and what we want to do is that we want to let this one here just fall in behind, out of the way. Okay, so get that chain 4 out of the way. That is so important, and we're gonna cover this in troubleshooting down the road in order to problem solve. So what we have to do is that we have to get this yarn into our hands and let this orange be out of the way, and I want you to sandwich them together into your hand, and I want you to sandwich it together so that they line up. So this is the very first post that you see in the back. It's gonna be the one that pops through there. The next post is gonna pop through, 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 and through. So what we're going to do is that we are going to pull this one in behind so it's in underneath that other mesh. So in order to do it, we gotta wrap our hook first. So wrap the hook first, and this is what I'm gonna show you, and we're gonna take our time. If I'm going too slow, I'm sorry about that, and if I'm going too fast, I'm really gonna try to go slow. So what you have to do is that you wrap the hook, and I want you to stick your hook through the first gap of the mesh on the other side. So just put it back together. So just go right into the first gap. Okay, so I'm going right into the first gap, and I want to pop it out through the front. Okay, And the hook is fabulous because what we have to do is that we have to pull this gray one back through that mesh. So it's kind of hard to do it in the very beginning. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna just grab this post, grab the stitches on the top, just pull down, and I want to pull it to the back so it pulls through the mesh. Okay, so just take your time, just loop onto that stitch and pull it back so that it's on the back side of that mesh, so it's actually going through that mesh. So now what I want to do is that I want to double crochet as normal. So I'm gonna pull through 2 and 2. And what that did is that it just pulled that stitch through this mesh. So I'm gonna do a zigzag here for you. So let's chain 1 then. So we always have to chain 1 in between in order to create the gapping space that will be operating in the future. And then we are just going to align this more effectively. So the next one here is that I'm going to go only in the gray. So you only play within the gray. So you're gonna play through the gray, either through the mesh or over the mesh. Okay, so either through or over. And this one we're gonna come on the front side of the project here and we're gonna double crochet right into the gray only. So we're not touching that orange at all. And we're just going in the top of that other double crochet. Okay, hopefully you're not lost yet. So now the next one we have to do is that we have to chain 1 in order to advance. And now the next gray one, what do you think we have to do? We have to pull it back. So how do you do it? You go to the next space available to you, okay, in the back. So just, if you're not sure, just push these through and you can see where those spaces are. Okay, so we know that this one here is pushing through, it's aligned. So whatever is next beyond it, it's right there. That's the space you're gonna go through. So just wrap the hook first, go through that space. Okay, we're going through that space and I want you to pull that stitch back. It gets easier, it's just because we're starting, it's a little more complex for your hands. So we pulled it back so it's through the mesh and you're gonna double crochet as normal. Okay, so you can see you pulled this one back, this one you did on the front side of it, and then you pulled this one back. So what's the next one? You chain 1 and we're gonna come to the front side now and grab the next one in a row and we're gonna stay on the front side. So just double crochet into that gray only. Okay, so what is the next gray one? So we have 2 more grays left. You have this one and the outside one. So what do you think it's gonna be? We're gonna pull it back. Okay, so chain 1 and we advance to the space. So if you're not sure, just as you're lining it up, you see this is the orange popping through there, so just pass it through and it's this space. So wrap the hook first, going through the space, and then just grab that stitch, push it down, and then pull it to the back side, and then pull through 2 and 2. So we're not quite done yet because you still have this one that's not being accounted for. So you're gonna chain up 1 and this is the main color. So this gray will always be the outside color of whatever block or blanket you're doing. And you're going to go into a turning chain. It's the 3rd chain up and it's just gonna be a double crochet. So before you do anything, I want you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now you can see that the orange has worked its way through with going through the gray that you see. And let's turn it over and look at the back. This is what it looks like in the back side. So you're thinking to yourself, well, that kind of doesn't look right. That's gonna sort itself out, you watch. So let's just turn back now and we're, like a typewriter, our eyes are gonna shift back to the very beginning and look at this orange one. What do we have to do with that one in order to get that one to work? So what we have to do is that we have to bring the secondary color in the back and we have to bring that forward now by crocheting in order to fill in the spaces that you see. So let's do that next. So I think the hardest part of doing this concept is knowing how to start a row. We're gonna cover that, about covering the basics later on being able to identify it, to problem solve instead of doing a whole row and then realize that you started wrong. So what we're gonna notice here is that this orange appears in behind the gray. Do we agree with that? See, it's in behind. So what do you think the first stitch is gonna be? It's gonna be in front of this. So it's gonna be in this slot right here, in this one here, going forward. So let's just put this on our hook and let's go nice and slow. So we've already chained our 4, and so we're gonna come into the first double crochet in the orange on the front side. So we wrap the hook first, and then we come into the front side of the double crochet, and we double crochet as normal. So where do you think the next one's gonna go? If we went in and out before, the next one obviously has to be in behind. So we're gonna chain up 1, and what we have to do is that we have to grab the next stitch that is available to you. Okay, so the next one available to you from in behind is, if you look at it and just turn it, flip it, you'll see it. It's right there. So you're in this one, and the next available one is right here. So how are you gonna do that? Okay, so what you have to do is you wrap your hook and just turn it forward and just double crochet right into the actual stitch itself. Okay, so do you notice that you're only using the orange? You're never going into that gray at all. It's mosaic. It's puzzling itself together. So then we chain up 1. So where is the next one going to be? Well, if this one's in behind, the next one is right in front here, and we just come in from the front side and get that one, and we double crochet. So we chain 1. Where's the next one? You can't see it. It's in behind, right? So it's right there. So just flip it and you can see it, and just come in behind and double crochet, and then you got one more left. It's right here. So chain up 1. So if that was on the back, this one must be on the front. So you come into the turning chain itself and just double crochet. And how are you gonna finish this so you can start fresh? Chain 4. So you can see that your work has been bouncing in and out of those stitches. So now look at the difference on the other side. Okay, so the nice thing about this is that you don't really see the pattern happen until both rows are both of those are done, going in the one direction, and then once the secondary color is over in this direction, you're ready to turn your work and then begin again. So let's begin again, and let's just cover the basics on doing the zigzag. So the hardest part for me was trying to determine if I'm starting on the front or the back of the project. So last time we left this orange in behind and then we started up, but this time we can't. Why can't we? Here, see how this is on the back of the project, so it's in the back? Well, this time we're gonna do completely the opposite. So this front one is gonna be pushed to the back, and then this one here is gonna come forward. So before we get started, we have to put this forward. So there's really 2 rows that exist. There's gonna be one row where it's left and behind, and then there's gonna be the next row where it's brought in front, and you have to determine that. But I'm gonna cover that a little bit later on problem solving it, so that you don't go through a whole side of an afghan and realize when you get to the other side it's wrong. So we're gonna pull this forward, and we're gonna put the chain 4 of the main color onto your hook. You cannot change this here once you do the first stitch of this. So it has to be moved into position at the same time. So what we need to do is that we need to pull this gray one back, because this one here is currently on the front side. So we have to be conscientious of where this main color is. So we have to pull it back through this first gap space of this color. So we wrap the hook, and like I showed you before, just come into the space and grab that stitch, it's the gray, and pull it back through that mesh. So you're only pulling it through the gray, and then you're gonna double crochet. So now that pulled that one back out of the way. So you're gonna chain up 1. So where is the next one for you? This is where it gets a little tricky, but you can do it. Is that you have to look at it as just being sandwiched together. So the next one is gray, it's in the front, but right now it's appearing in behind. Do you see that? So it's right here, it's in behind. You can't see it when you turn it over, can you? So you have to squeeze your hook in between the next space right here and pull it forward. So just going up to the front side of the project, going only into the gray, pop it out so you can get access to it, and then double crochet, and then chain 1. So if that was in the front, that means that this next one we have to pull to the back. So we just wrap the hook and going in between the next mesh space of the orange, pull that back. So just hook onto it and pull it back, and then just double crochet. Okay, so chain one. And so where's the next one? Well, the next one is in the back. We see it here. We don't see it here. So we just have to squeeze our hook in there and only go into the gray. So I'm just getting onto that double crochet the gray, pulling it through, and then gonna double crochet as normal. And you're gonna do that all the way across no matter how big your row is, because you can see the zigzag is starting to happen. So chain up one, and so you can see this is on the front, so we're now gonna pull it from behind. So just come in from behind, just get that double crochet. So if you're not sure, just kind of work things out. So wrap the hook, just pull it back, and then double crochet, and then chain one, and you have nothing left but this turning chain. So now that you chain one, you're just going to go right into a chain. It's about the third one up, so that you leave a chain one space there. Now you're gonna think to yourself, oh my god, something is not right. Okay, so you can see, well, that doesn't look right to me. See how it's kind of like leaning over? It's right, because what's gonna happen is that when we come across here, we're gonna then loop onto it and it's gonna pull it into position. So you have to trust in this pattern. And you will notice at this point is that the pattern is starting to emerge of going in the zigzag. So let's just chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're gonna leave that to a side now. Just pull up a loop, and I want you to put the secondary color on here, because now we're gonna do the secondary color then going across. So let's do that next. So we're now gonna start with the secondary color. So you can see that this is staying on the outside. So the secondary color only appears on the inside of the project. So the main color is the outside, like you see. So we already have our chain 4. So what do you think we have to do with this piece here? We have to pull it backward because it's already on the front side for this particular design. So we wrap the hook and we just squeeze ourselves in between. See, there's the mesh of the gray, just like you see. And so you're just gonna come in from behind and you're going to hook onto that orange and pull it back, and then double crochet. See how it's already lined up? So this stayed on the front side and this is now the new back. So we chain up 1. So where's the next one? Well, the orange here is in behind. It's in behind this one here. Do you see it? So you have to stick it from the front side into the double crochet. You see that? And pull, oh sorry, and only pull the orange. So I just pull it forward and then only double crochet the orange. So now that pulled it forward, and then chain 1. So the next one is in behind. So the next one then is that I have to pull this one back here. This is in the front, so I'm just gonna wrap the hook and just reach around into the gap space and pull that stitch back. It's just the orange, and pull it back and double crochet, and then chain 1. So the next one, the orange is gonna be pulling forward, so it's right next to it. It's always in the same spot for this design, so you can see it's always to the left. So you're just gonna wrap the hook, just stick your hook through, and you will get the double crochet that's sitting on there on the back side if you see it, and you have to pull that forward first. So only pull that double crochet forward. So you can't go over top of this gray. You always have to pull it forward. Okay, so don't go like this and go right up over top of that. So you have to pull only the orange through and double crochet, and then chain up 1, and then we're gonna pull this back because this is currently in the front. So we just come to the final space of the gray. We're gonna pull that turning chain backward, and we're going to double crochet, and then that's it. Okay, because the gray always stays on the outside, and then you're going to chain 4. So if you remember when we started this is that we had the orange pull forward in order to get this concept, but now that we're going to turn it, we then have to push it to the back. And why is that? Well, I'll show you that in just a moment. So now that I've turned my work, we have to start our next row of zigzagging. So you can see that this is on the front side of it. Okay, do you see it here? So what do you think that we need to do in order to get that started as we start the main color, which is the gray? We have to push it back, because last time it was in the forward. So we have to push it back first so it's in behind, and then we start the gray going forward. So we're just gonna leave that in behind, and we're gonna start off. So this one here is your next one. It's in the front. We're just gonna reach behind, so wrap through and then pull that back. Okay, so we're only playing with the gray now because we're using the gray yarn. Okay, and then chain one, and now this gray here, it's in behind, so now we're gonna pull it forward, so just go in. So I'm getting into the double crochet that you see here on the other side. Okay, pull that forward and then just double crochet. So it's about pulling stitches back or forward depending on your application. So chain up one. So this one here is in the front, so we're gonna pull it back. So just pull it back. And what I want to do is that I want to stop. So what I'm gonna do is that you can create an issue here of actually being able to be able to test whether you've done it right. So what I did in the very beginning is that, because this was kind of confusing for me, is that sometimes I would screw up and not put the secondary color in the front or the back to be aligned. So what I just do is that I go a little bit like this, and then I start this one here and I make sure that it's starting right. So what we have to do for this one in order to get it to go right is that this one's in the front here. So the next one here is gonna be in the front. Okay, so we're gonna just double crochet into the orange in the front. See, you can see the zigzag is going up, and then chain up one, and now the next orange is in the front and I wanna pull it back. So I can tell that I've started off right, and all I just do is that, and then I know that I've started that row off right, because it's easy to start off wrong and then you realize that the starting point is wrong, and therefore it's gonna throw off your entire pattern. So you continue along with your gray, so chain up one, and then you just pull the next one forward. So coming in the front, and then in the back. So this one currently is in the front, so we're just gonna pull it backward. Like that, and then chain up one, and that's it for the orange. So the orange has run out, so we're just gonna go into the turning chain. It's about the third one up, and then chain four. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then leave it to the side. So we're gonna come back to the orange. Okay, we already know that we started off right, so we just pick it up and then just continue to go across. So I gotta chain up one, and then just continuing to go across like you already know, and you can see that the pattern is really starting to materialize right in front of our eyes of doing the zigzag pattern. Okay, so you're gonna notice that these strings can tangle, so what I would recommend to you is that don't have a lot of yarn coming off the ball. Keep the balls nice and close to you, and therefore you can just untangle the balls just by moving the ball placement if you want to do that. So this one is gonna be in the front, and then this color is done. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's kind of how you do it. So in order to create your own different mesh ideas, you can actually just think about the placement of what you're doing here, and let's talk a little bit about that next. So what we've been doing here is that we've been making a zigzag pattern. So every other one, so we've been going front, back, front, back, front, back. So you can change the way that the things look by just changing whether you're going in the front or the back. So it's just a matter of getting some graph paper and just kind of drawing it out on how you want to do it. So you could do 2 fronts, 2 backs, 2 fronts, 2 backs, and it will just leave some gapping spaces in order to create the looks of different kinds of mosaics that you can see out there. So it's just a matter of being able to create your own designs, and once you get started started. I think it's just about a few rows and then you really start to see the pattern really materialize, so then you can follow it quite easily in order to do it, or you can grab a scrap piece of paper. But it's the sequence of how you're laying these out which will create the design that you see. So creating your own mosaics is actually not too hard. It's just a matter of being able to get started the right way and continuing to follow. So let's just quickly solve on the problem of the beginning of the row, just to make sure that you got that down in your mind. So we're about to turn our work and we have to determine if we're starting off on or we're starting right. So the first thing I was doing when I first started this is that I was going all the way to the end and realized that I screwed up because I can't really tell right in the very beginning. Because I'm sitting here with you now, you can probably clearly see it, but when you're like me sitting by yourself, it can be quite frustrating on starting off wrong. So we're gonna grab our main color first. And so does this orange need to be in the front or the back? I can tell you it can be in the front. It has to be in the front. And the reason for it is that it's currently sitting in behind. So I want to bring it forward in order to keep this pattern going consistent. And my first stitch is the next gray one that you see here, and that's in the front, so therefore this must be going through the orange mesh and getting it from behind and pulling it back. When in doubt, pull out, right? So that's kind of your thing. And I just want to do just a couple inches to make sure I get it right. So chain up one, and now this gray one is, I just need to pull it forward and then chain up one, and then I just need to pull it backward, chain up one. Now I've kind of gone all the way across because it's such a small sample, because I've been doing a baby blanket, so I've been stopping about there, and then I just grab the orange and I make sure that I did start it off right. So I can see the next orange one here is in the front, therefore the next time I go is that the first one has to be from behind in order to keep that pattern looking consistent. So if I'm never sure, this is the way to do it right in the very beginning. Especially if you got a big blanket, why start it and go all the way across when you can verify right pretty quickly that you've gone in the wrong direction. So this one has to go from behind here to pull it back. So sometimes you got to cheat the system, right? So now that's all I can do for the orange, because I know that it's gonna be right now if I just follow it with my eyes. Okay, and then we just continue to go across and just grabbing the main color once again. It's on the front side, so it has to be pulled to the back. And then chain one. And I pulled an exceptionally long loop there. I'm gonna redo that because that might make a difference. Well, it probably will make a difference. I'm not gonna deny that. So we're gonna just pull from behind and then chain up one and just go into the turning chain. So go right into the chain itself. Don't go into a space, and finish it and chain four. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to notice that this again looks off right here. Remember that when this orange comes across, the way that it's gonna pick it up and then it's gonna make it sit properly. You just gotta put trust in it. It just looks off when you just leave it there, and you'll question life, but you don't really need to. So continuing along then with the orange, chain up one. Okay, so this one was in behind, so therefore we have to grab this one and pull it forward. Chain up one, and then coming here, just going into the turning chain itself. Don't go into a gap space. And then that orange is done, and then chain up 4. So you just continue along like that, and that's just a way to verify the very beginning whether you're starting off right or wrong. And so when you go to start the next one, what are we gonna do? So just let's examine. So you can see this orange is on the front side now. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna leave it towards the back and then go up and over it, and then when I go up and over, let's just verify. When I go up and over, I wanna grab this gray from behind. Okay, so we're just gonna grab that gray from behind and pull it backward. Okay, chain up one, and now I'm gonna pull that gray, the next gray that's in behind, I'm gonna pull it forward. Okay, so let's take a look at the orange. Where are we with that orange? So it's on the back side here. So we know then it's on the back. Okay, so we know that this one here, the first time we ever do orange, it's gonna be on the back side, and the first one is gonna pull forward right there. So it keeps your, I actually never went into an actual stitch. Let me retry that. It's important that you go right into a stitch. It stabilizes it better than going into gap spaces, because remember it is a two-sided pattern. So if you screw it up and it seems invisible on this side, it may be visible on the other. So you can see that I've just started off right. So if you turn it over, you can see identical like that. So let's move along and let's figure out how to finish off your mosaics. So let's finish off our mosaics, and I'm going to finish off with this orange first. So I'm gonna just undo what I just did, and I'm just going to just undo to the point where both of them are just now finished at the very end. So what I'm gonna do here with this one is that I'm going to trim off the orange, which is the secondary color, and I'm just going to pull it out right to where it should be, and I'm just going to pull it through the last one like that. So what I'm gonna do with this one here is that we want to finish it up and make it look the same as this one here. So you see this is how we started. They're not really kind of joined right in the very beginning, and that's what we're gonna fix. So let's do this row first. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do the row exactly the way that you see it down here. So you'll see that all of the stitches here, okay, or are all in front, okay, because that's how we started. So what we want to do is that we want to work across the gray only, staying on the front side of the project. So just chain one, and so just double crochet, pull this one forward. So you want them to look consistent with the main color. Okay, chain one. And you're gonna think to yourself, wow, you got those huge gaps going on at the bottom of it. You won't. You just gotta trust me. So we're just pulling everything forward so that it looks like the other side. So go into your turning chain and finish that off. So the front and the starting here and the ending looks completely identical to each other. So what do we need to do? That we need to stabilize this, and what we have to do is that we have to put the orange together with the final. So let's just cover that next, and it's really quite easy, and let's go around this in order to make it consistent. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is that we want to go all the way around this with the same color. So we're going to chain up one, and what I want you to do is that I want you to put 3 single crochets into that gap space right at the corner. So we're gonna do one more single crochet, but this time I want you to grab this orange piece, okay, just grab it, and I want you to put it with the next one, which is the 4th single crochet. So just going right into the actual orange itself and around the outside, and just double crochet, and that pulls it together to be part of the design. So all you're just gonna do is that you're just gonna work yourself all the way down this side. Okay, so the sides look pretty consistent, and if you want to go into a side and just grab a piece of the orange, that's completely up to you. I never did that on the baby blanket that I did, but again, that's your creativity, and I'm just making sure that the single crochets look evenly spaced as I'm going all the way down the side. So I'm just being consistent. So the next one that we have is that we have the big space that we had up on this side. So we're gonna put in our first one, but I want you to grab the orange first. So just going right into an actual orange itself. I wouldn't recommend going into a space, just go into the orange, kind of like chain itself, and then just around the gray and just single crochet, and now just go into this space just of the gray 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And now on the tops of these, this is on the bottom, so just a single crochet, and in the space I want you to grab the orange up. So it's a double crochet on the other side. So just going right into the actual orange, just go around it and it'll pull it into position. Okay, so this one is by itself, and then the next one pull that double crochet up of the orange and go right into the gray space and just single crochet, and you keep doing that all the way on the side. So this is the bottom. You're just keeping everything aligned as you're working across. That one I was advancing too much, so you just want to be consistent. So into the space, grab the double crochet of the orange and behind it, just pulls it into position, and then just go into this one and then just do the final. So this is that one, and then go right into a space itself. So you're gonna do 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, and then before you advance you're gonna do one more, but you're gonna grab the orange, just a piece of the chain of the orange, and that'll pull it in line, and then you're just gonna work your way down the side. So down the sides I don't really pull the orange, but that, again, that's your creativity, it's up to you. But this is a way of stabilizing both of those front and back meshes together so that you can do anything after this is done. You can add borders, you can do a lot of great things. I would recommend too that you go into a chain on the sides. Don't ever go into an actual space, because when you go into spaces it completely opens it up, and it may be something that you don't want. So you're now on the outside space, so just single crochet, but go into the orange first to pull it into position, and then into that gray again. 3, so 1, 2, 3, so you turn your corner and then go into the orange again into that same space. So you're just gonna double crochet the next one, sorry, single crochet in the next one, and then going into the orange and behind for the next space, and you're pulling everything together. So go into the next double crochet of the orange, so instead of being separate like this, when you come all the way around it'll be like it's joined. It'll be, well, it won't be like it's joined, it is joined. So you're just making it purposely work together and pushing it together so that you have a nice consistency, especially if it's a baby blanket. You really do want that. So we're gonna go into the final orange here. Okay, and then just, that's it. So let me just trim this yarn here. So when you look at it from behind you can see that it's all completely joined, just like you see, and all it just takes now is that you, with the darning needle, you're just gonna hide in your loose ends. So if you have any loose ends at this point, you want to keep your loose ends to right where they're gonna be the best hidden. So the orange, don't weave it in the gray, so just go in back through the orange section, just like that, and then just go in and out 3 times. Just stay within the orange itself. So that was 2, and then I would do it one more time to hide that in, and therefore it would be good to go. And then of course I would do the very starting one just like that, the same way, and also with the outside. So this is the kind of the way of doing the mosaic crochets. They're really quite fun to work with. You'll have a lot of great ideas and designs with this if you would really like to play with it. But this is an introductory of the basics of just being able to work with the filet meshes in order to make the mosaic look. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.